What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Everyday Preparedness Podcast, where we're trying to help you be prepared for life's everyday obstacles. I'm joined, as always, by good buddy Zan. Zan, how we doing, man?
Doing pretty good. Glad the work week's over and hopefully try and relax a little bit. But you know how that goes. It's always so much stuff going on. It's hard to try and just take a step back and take it easy.
I was going to say, as hard as we work doing all the different stuff we're doing, I don't know that there is such a thing as a day off. But you know what? I think that's all right, too. You know,
I don't think there is. But the good thing is, whether it's preparedness or whether it's some music or anything else we're into, a lot of the stuff that's work ends up being, or I should say, a lot of the stuff that's a hobby ends up being work, and it's more enjoyable, so it doesn't seem like work, you know?
That's right. Time passes so fast that, you know what, just having a hell of a good time, and it's all worth it. Before we get too carried away with everything and lose all sense of any type of professionalism, let me give you the rundown. Get a hold of us at edpreparedness@gmail.com. We're going to talk about something a little bit different today. So if you have any ideas or anything regarding this topic, be sure to get with us. We're also on Facebook, which is facebook.com/edprepare, and Twitter, which is @edprepare. We're on YouTube, you know, all sorts of fun stuff. That's probably where you're checking it out. But yeah, be sure to get with us on that, especially on Facebook. It's finally started growing again a little bit. We took a few weeks off, had some personal stuff and everything going on, and just ran out of time to do stuff. So I apologize for the 3-week complete absence of activity. That was completely on me. Zan was doing 6 million other things, and I had 4 million other things going on and just didn't have time to get back to doing this. So like I said, I apologize for that, but we'll try to not do that in the future, but just, bear with us. We're still fairly new to this game. Other than that, Zan, so did you hear the big news about Mars?
A little bit about it. I mean, this could be a whole nother sideshow, but I keep track of a lot of the headline news stuff, but a lot of it, I'll be honest, I see it, and I'm like, who cares? Keep going.
Yeah.
I mean, so what's going on with Mars?
Well, honestly, I keep up with this stuff. I follow a few, I guess you would call it weirder websites, kind of like your Coast to Coast AMs and stuff like that.
Which is a fantastic show, by the way.
Oh, yeah, it's great. I don't mean any disrespect to it. It's just a lot of people would consider what they talk about a lot of times very, I guess, fantastic.
Right.
It's not real. It's all fake. It's aliens and this and that. Anyway, apparently the NASA rover sent back some images that actually look like a woman.
That is weird.
Half cloaked, just standing there. I mean, it's obviously a ways off, and it's probably a trick of the camera or something. But it's actually kind of bizarre. It's one of the more realistic kind of sightings that they've had on Mars, which, I hope we find aliens someday. I'm kind of weird nerd like that, so... I don't know. But there was also the rock crab creature that they thought they saw going in this crevice too. I mean, it was huge. I mean, well, it looked huge in the picture anyway. Who knows how big it actually was. So I mean, there was that. I didn't know if you saw any of that stuff or not. So maybe we're finally seeing some aliens, man.
No, I haven't, but aliens have always been something interesting to me. I've always been a little scared. I think that's from when I was a kid and watching a lot of stuff on Sci-Fi Channel and what was the show Aliens, right? Was it Aliens? Not the movie. It was the show, I believe.
There's been so many.
They all kind of look. They maybe it wasn't Aliens. I don't know. They all kind of looked like Freddy Krueger, like they had the spots all over their head. It was a movie, and then they turned it into a show. I can't remember the name of it, though.
Oh, what was that called? I know exactly what you're talking about. It was Alien something.
Alien Nation.
That's it. That's it. Yep.
Great show. Great movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was great stuff. I love all that sci-fi stuff. And I've always had a fascination with aliens. And
I like the aliens, like the movies, the kind of horror in this. When I think aliens, I don't think of that. And, to be honest, if I saw one of those, I don't think I'd be as freaked out as I would, say, like you said, the cloaked woman just standing there. That's pretty strange.
Yeah, it really is. Like I said, I mean, it's obviously a ways off, and it's probably some sort of visual matrixing that, like it normally is. But it would still be kind of cool, some Earth, almost human type woman's just sitting there waving at the rover hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
I think that would be kind of sweet, honestly. No, you have not actually entered the crazy alien abduction files here. We are not broadcasting the X-Files or anything. We're actually Everyday Preparedness still. We just like different
Just
tangents.
like to talk about weird things from occasionally.
Yeah. Hell, we're in the preparedness community, so they already expect the tinfoil hat. So, I mean, we might as well, get aliens in on it.
Hey, speaking of that, have you seen the kind of weird clown epidemic that's been going around?
I'd actually heard a little bit about that. Just like the weird ones, like just standing around kind of looking and waving at people and stuff.
Yeah. Nobody's been hurt. There's not been anything weird going on other than just, it seems like these people in these clown costumes are kind of popping up everywhere. Like, in the cemeteries in the middle of the day, in the middle of the night. I saw this video where this girl caught one climbing over this fence into the cemetery in the middle of the night. And I guess the clown saw her and it stops and turns around and just starts waving really slowly. And then all of a sudden just disappears into the dark. I mean, there's just a lot of weird stuff going on. I don't know what's up with the world.
Yeah, all I've got to say about that is why I carry a gun.
Yeah, exactly.
Specifically, if I see a clown start waving slowly, yeah. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. I'm not a big fan of clowns. I don't have I don't remember what the actual name of the phobia is. I don't have, fear of clowns, but they're honestly creepy. I've seen the movie It with Pennywise and read the book and everything. I don't need clowns around. Right. So, if you're one of those people dressing up like a clown, just stop it. I would hate to shoot you in the face.
or just dress up like a clown and don't mess with you.
Right, yeah. Be a happy clown. Don't be the creeper.
Yeah.
Don't be the creepy clown. Be the nice guy. Well, this has started off well. So, did you get to watch any of the debates?
No, I had all kinds of people coming at me. Hey, you watching the debate tonight? You gonna watch this? Who are you looking forward to at the debate? And, I would give them the same answer. Every single person that would say that, I would say, why do I want to waste my time with a bunch of people up there that are just going to BS? They're not going to do anything they say they're going to do. And it's just going to be arguing over the top of each other, everybody yelling. And then it was a Republican nomination. So you're going to have all the Democrats in the background saying, oh, look at these guys are a joke. You're going to have all the third party guys saying, oh, this is a joke. And to me, I just didn't want to waste my time with it. So, I mean, I would see stuff on Twitter, but I couldn't make anything of it. So what were your thoughts? Did you watch it, or did you catch anything of any newsworthy notes?
I watched some of the highlights of people talking about it. I didn't actually watch any of the debate itself. I don't actually have satellite or anything. I mean, I don't get Fox News. I don't get any of that stuff. So, if it's not basic TV, I don't get it. I don't even watch that much TV.
Yeah.
I watch Netflix. I watch stuff on there. But I keep up on Twitter and Facebook and everything, and everybody was saying Donald Trump won or Carly Fiorina won, which she kind of intrigues me a little bit. She said some stuff that's kind of bugged me as far as like kind of some of the war stuff and everything, if I remember correctly. Don't quote me directly on that. I say that on a freaking podcast. It seems like that's what it was, because I know she had said something that kind of bugged me. It seems like a couple weeks back, shortly after she had actually declared her candidacy. But she's actually intriguing. She's, I think, a better Republican candidate than they've had in a while. But there again, I don't know. I don't know that I trust any of them. And you get people like flipping Donald Trump, and I'm sorry. Anybody who believes a word that man says, just don't vote, please. Because I'm sorry, but if you can't tell, he doesn't say anything. And all he's doing is he's playing on everybody's kind of raw emotions. Everybody's pissed at the government. Everybody's pissed at the politics. Everybody's pissed at the total stonewalling, this and that. And that's all he's playing on. He's not actually saying anything. He's like, yeah, I'm going to do this and do that. And it's like, there's no policy here. And I think personally, all Trump's doing is selling his brand. That's all he's doing. He has no intention of doing anything other than making money on this.
But I think that's a good strategy for him because, like you said, people are sick of all this stuff. They want somebody who's just going to lay it out there and doesn't care about repercussions. And that's kind of where he's at, I think.
Yeah. And, that's what I was saying. He plays on that anger that people have with the system right now. And I don't know. He's a joke to me. Go back to The Apprentice and, do that stuff. Other than that, Rand Paul kind of got at Chris Christie, and I always like to see that fat bastard get chewed on. So,
hey, speaking of Rand Paul, wasn't some of his party members indicted on corruption charges?
Yeah, it actually, I think I heard, I didn't get actually look at that, but some of them were. Is why I saw the little blurb pop up, whenever you like something on Facebook, it brings something up kind of related to that. And yeah, I saw that. I didn't actually read it up though, see what was going on. But, it's one of those, out of the entire Republican field, if I vote for any of them, it's going to be Rand Paul. And it would have to be a whole lot of very bizarre, just really bad things in the corruption charges to change my mind, mainly because the respect I had for his dad.
Right.
And I know his dad's going to kind of be there in the background a little bit. I mean, he's not his dad, and there's a lot of differences between them, especially on foreign policy.
Oh, there's a ton of differences.
And immigration policy and stuff. But as far as people who are trying to at least limit the wars we get in, limit the domestic spying, and stuff like that, I think Rand Paul is going to be probably the best. And did you actually see that Gary Johnson said that he would actually endorse Rand Paul?
No, but that kind of doesn't surprise me from basically everything you just said compared to, everybody. I mean, I'm still a believer that this is all rigged, right. And you can call me a conspiracy theorist, but or whatever. But if we're going to talk, the voting, let's say the voting system works, everything's fair, blah, blah, blah. Right. Yeah, I can see that because they probably stand closest as far as a lot of the issues on their stances.
Yeah, and that's what he was saying. I'm kind of like you on it. I know we hit on this on an earlier show and everything, but I there's a part of me that doesn't think it matters at all. And I remember when I first started getting into politics, it was shortly after George W. Bush got elected for the first time. At the time, I didn't care. I didn't care the Florida election, the hanging chads and this and that. I didn't give a crap. It didn't mean anything to me. But shortly after that, really honestly, it was kind of 9/11 that kind of started getting me to actually looking at politics and stuff like that. And it was mainly just because I was keeping up on the news and I got hooked onto talk radio and stuff like that. It was, I want to say it was Neil Bortz, and that may not be right, but I was listening to him, and I think it was around whenever Bush was running against Kerry for a second term. And they had said something like, was quoting somebody that they said it doesn't matter who ends up in office, because once they're sitting there in that chair getting the reports and stuff they do, they realize that none of them have a choice about anything.
Right. Yep.
And that stuck with me. And if you notice, all of the presidents have kind of kept this common theme throughout. Reagan changed just a little bit, but he was not the man that everybody wants to say he was. He was, far from the worst we've ever had, but he wasn't, the Ronald Reagan everybody thinks he was. But they've all kind of kept the same formula, and it seems like it's been accelerating towards, more and more of a police state and this and that. And I don't want to get too far because, like you said, everybody will start thinking you're a conspiracy theorist and this and that. I mean, you look, Bush continued everything that Clinton was doing and ramped it all up. And Obama got in there and he's just ramped everything up. And I have no reason to believe that whether it's Hillary Clinton or the frickin' socialist Bernie Sanders or Rand Paul or Jeb Bush or whoever, I don't think they're going to change it. I really don't. And the thing is, honestly, if they decided that they would, say somebody like Rand Paul gets in there and we're going to, he actually wants to fix it, actually wants to turn stuff around, I don't think he would be able to do it.
No.
Congress would screw him over. The judicial branch would screw him over. The people wouldn't want a lot of the fixes that we would have to have because it cuts into some of the entitlements and stuff like that. So even if, we do get somebody in there who wants to try to, fix the country, I guess is, just to steal the, word of the statement of the day. I don't think that they could actually do a whole lot of good anyway. I think we're past the point where a president's going to change anything, and we have to change as a people before any of that's going to matter. And
yeah,
I don't see that happening. But anyway, that's enough about the depressing thing of politics. I could go on politics the whole time, and we may get into it, again later on. This is the season.
Yeah.
Try not to kill yourself. At least, enjoy some drinking games or something while you're doing it.
I actually saw some people on Twitter doing that.
Oh, I know. I actually saw a thing. There were like warnings saying, please don't do this because it's actually too big of a threat.
Wow.
Yeah, like to your health, like you're drinking too much. So who knows? It's all just screwy. But we're going to go in something that...
Totally different.
yeah, now for something completely different. This is something that I think shows a phenomenon known as spontaneous... I just forgot the entire dadgum word. Spontaneous organization. That's what it is. It's actually kind of a capitalist thing, kind of like a laissez-faire market idea, but it's spontaneous order and organization. And it's just that order arises just kind of spontaneously. A group of people decide, hey, I want to do this. Hey, I want to do that. And all of a sudden it just kind of picks up steam and, carries in, starts feeding into each other and ends up becoming something kind of neat. And there's different ways of doing this, but the one we're going to talk about specifically today is called guerrilla gardening. And Zan, I don't know how familiar you are with this. I know we talked just a little bit about it before the show, but this is something that I think is actually really kind of neat. Because you hear a lot of the politicians, you always hear the word like food deserts and stuff like that. Or that we can't grow enough food, we don't have enough fresh food. This, I think, has the potential, if people are smart about it and use their head about it, to actually help a lot of people who may struggle to get fresh food and stuff like that. I don't know. What are your thoughts about guerrilla gardening in general?
Basically, just my understanding on it, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is essentially gardening anywhere, whether it's your property, your neighbor's property, public property, maybe it's on a rooftop, maybe it's underground. I mean, all different kinds it's basically just growing anything you can, wherever you can. And it's for the public, essentially. Anybody can contribute to it and help out, maybe plant new seeds, water, whatever it is, and maybe plant different plants to have a variety. And everybody shares. Everybody's allowed to take it. But the couple things, I'm curious, are we going to start seeing even more local city ordinances put in place to prevent this kind of thing?
Yeah.
Number one. And number two, human nature. I want to have faith in the human race, but I can see people out of meanness tearing it up. Yeah. I can see people being selfish and taking all the food that's there and just destroying the plants just because. I mean, there's so many different ways. On the surface, this is probably one of the greatest ideas ever. Whether it can actually work or not, I mean, I know it can work, but you know what I mean. Just long term, I'm not sure how humanity will take on to that.
Yeah, I'm like you. I would love to have faith in humanity. Really don't most of the time. But no, I mean, basically you're right. It's kind of a gardening anywhere that there's a plot of ground that isn't being used for something else. They've kind of taken it to extremes in some areas and everything. But I mean, basically what it boils down to is, say you're walking around your city square, you have this part, or not necessarily your city square, you're walking around your town and you see this dilapidated lot. There's no house. Maybe it was dozed down. It's empty. Grass is growing up. It looks like crap. There's nothing going on with it. And basically a group of people or an individual comes in and maybe they plant sunflowers. Maybe they plant vegetables. Maybe they plant, something to just kind of beautify the town or the area. And they do it all on their own dime. They don't expect any type of payback or anything like that. They just go in, they dig the ground up, they take care of it, they cultivate it, and that's essentially what it is. And like you said, if they do like a vegetable garden or something like that, it's expected that anybody who needs it can go in and get it. And I know some of you are like, oh, that sounds communist. Well, in a sense, it actually kind of is, but at the same time, it's people maybe, trying to take care of other people. And if we've got a lot that is useless, basically, why not do something like this that the whole town or at least this, little community can benefit from a little bit? So, I mean, I think it's a great idea. there are some problems, like you said. Are you going to have people who are complete, total assholes that go in and just tear it up just for fun? You're going to have your big, rednecks going in there, running, doing the donuts, tearing it up. Are you going to have your kids going in there, people burning it down, taking all the food for themselves, not leaving anything for anybody else? It's possible. The examples I'd seen online in a lot of different countries, though, it's not that big of a deal. And it almost seems like
that's also in other countries, though. I mean,
and that's true.
Like so many more countries, even with maybe stricter laws on all kinds of stuff than what we have here, seem so much more accepting to, just helping people out as a community. And I'm not like you mentioned the communist thing. It seems a little like that, but it does come to a point where if all of us are just out for ourselves, eventually, greater power will take over the general population.
Yeah.
And we gotta help each other out, and we gotta look out for one another. Now, that doesn't mean we all have to be, hippies, essentially.
Right.
But that idea is kind of what I think we need to focus on. And like I said, other countries seem to be a little bit more open to that idea as far as that goes, and than America, where it just seems like it's all about the dollar and everybody's out for themselves.
Yeah, and you're right, and sadly, that does seem to be the direction we tend to go. But there are companies out there who've they've taken like old recycled, like the gumball machines. You put the little quarter in, all that, and they've made little like seed balls basically. And you put your quarter in, you just toss it out the window as you're driving down the highway. Mm-hmm. And it's just simple stuff like that. But yeah, as far as tearing it up and everything, I could see that almost being a very American.
Yeah, totally.
Thing. And it's actually really sad because Zan and I are both Christians, and part of that faith is that we are our brother's keepers, so to speak, at least to a point. Now, that's not to say that we go into his house and make sure, this and that. And there is a line to this, but whenever we can do something to try to help our fellow man, to try to help people out who are in a situation like that, that may need just a little bit of food, a little bit of something like that, why not something like this? I think it's a great idea. And if, it seems in those other countries, the communities come together and kind of help almost protect it. You'll have different groups of people coming in and taking care of it. And it's actually really neat to see some of the stuff that they've actually done. It's not even necessarily just vegetable gardens and stuff. They've even found that some of your like toxic lands and stuff, that they can get some of that leached out of the soil. Now, you don't want to eat the food, obviously, that's been around toxic waste or, what have you. But, you can start actually kind of helping the land and everything with putting some of these plants out there that'll kind of leach it out. It doesn't kill the plants. It helps purify the ground. Why not? But like you said, I could see where, America's like, oh, I don't want them fixing that. That's supposed to be ugly, bastards.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Well, I kind of got into talking about if you do decide to get into some guerrilla gardening, there's some good websites on there. One of them's guerillagardening.org. They kind of really popularized a lot of it. But just honestly, the Wikipedia page has some pretty good stuff on it too. I know I'm not a big fan of Wikipedia, but it's actually got some good info for this. That there are some rules. I say rules, not rules, but some guidelines I think you would be smart to adhere to. If, part of where they plant is like along highways and stuff, you may not want to do vegetables there because of oil and antifreeze and gasoline and diesel leach into the ground, and you take a bite out of a tomato that's grown in that, you may have problems. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because the more I think about it and the more I think about what you said, I read a story the other day of these people who couldn't even grow a garden in their front yard because their neighbors thought it was ugly.
Yeah, and that could be something with like a homeowners association, which is I do not recommend if you're buying a home, make sure it is not in one of those.
Yeah. And if it is, do what you can to make it not one of those like that. Because some of them aren't too bad. Most of them seem to be like, no, that flower's 10 inches and it's only supposed to be 6. Right. It's like, oh, God, I hate you people. I really do. These people buy these homes, and if they want a garden in the front, by God, God bless them. Let them grow the garden.
Right.
But of course, no. I don't know. It just makes me sad. But anyway, yeah, that's honestly the main topic we had today was for guerrilla gardening. I don't know that I have a whole lot else to say other than just, maybe if it's illegal, I'm not telling you to do it. Wink. But
well, and that's the whole idea. That's what I think is cool about it. Whether it's illegal or legal, just doing it. And you know what? If somebody tears it up, start another one somewhere else. Right. Seeds are relatively cheap, and it's the whole point of trying to do something. And I've actually seen in person some of these, and some of them I've seen are on like campuses. Mm-hmm. Like I'm talking like maybe a 1 foot by 1 foot piece of land with a tomato plant. Something that basic with a little sign that says, water me if I'm dry, help yourself, be considerate to others, stuff like that. And that's really what it's all about, in my opinion, is even just small scale like that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, absolutely. Think of how much lettuce,
yeah,
lettuce type things you can grow in just like a 2 foot squared, plot. I mean, you can grow a ton of food if, you do the right stuff. If you put the right seeds and everything in there, that it doesn't take, a huge empty field. You can do this in small areas. And, maybe you see people have trouble keeping their own yard. They need food and stuff. Go over there one night, take a small portion, dig something up, leave them a note. Hey, we'll help you take care of this. This is to help you and your kids or what have you. And, it's something to try to get us where we're helping each other instead of trying to help ourselves instead of, at the expense of each other, I guess I should say.
At the expense. Yeah, that's exactly right. Because, obviously, we've got to take care of ourselves first and foremost. But like I said, the selfishness, the greed, and the dollar just take over everything anymore, it seems, in this country.
Yeah. And, that's one of the big things I think, exactly like you said, this kind of helps fight some of that. Mm-hmm. And, college campuses are a great place. They've always got green space. Nobody sits in it. Nobody does anything with it. And, if you're going to have a bunch of people who want to pretend to be hippies and, spout some of the, things that we've talked about here, it's going to be a college campus.
Right.
And so you would think it would be pretty easy to actually get that done. So, like I said, if you see a dilapidated spot, you see something that's kind of broke down, empty, a lot going to waste, buy some cheap seeds. I don't care what they are. Obviously, you don't want to plant some invasive species that's going to take over and cause a lot of trouble.
Right.
Don't be that guy. But, plant some food. Leave a sign. It doesn't take much to, get some construction paper and a Sharpie and just, post a sign or a cardboard box right on there. Hey, community garden. Let's help me grow this. Leave it at that. And just, dig up the land, plant some seeds, and try to get, some of this going. I don't know that I've honestly got a whole lot more to say. Do you got anything else you want to add?
Yeah, one other thing I wanted to add too, and it sounds like that I'm just being a downer on this show, but I'm just putting the facts in front of you, and that's as plain as it can be. A lot of times I don't see this working in America because there's an epidemic of laziness.
Yeah, there's that too.
People can't get off their phones. They can't stop eating. They can't get off the couch. They can't. They communicate through. They could be 2 feet from each other and they text each other. It's just crazy. So, you could plant. Let's say you had a 10 by 10 plot that was just a public area that was kind of desolate, and you had tomato and lettuce plants there, which are you have to do next to no maintenance on.
Right.
And I could guarantee you, people walk by it and not even pay attention because they just don't care. And going back to how you said how this is really working in some of these other countries, I think a lot of that has to do with their economy. Some of these other countries are so poor that, a cardboard shack might look like a mansion. Right. So in that situation, they're going to have to band together because that might be the only way they eat. In this country, they just wait for the welfare to come in. They just wait for free handouts. They go steal something. It sounds like I'm totally putting America down, but it is what it is. And if you're listening to this and you don't believe anything I just said, you're one of those people. You're oblivious to what's going on.
Yeah, and I agree. Honestly, I wish I didn't. I want to be a little more optimistic, I guess, instead of the realist, I don't know. I want to believe in this idea that this is something that we could do just to help people, just random acts of kindness, I guess.
There's no doubt that you could absolutely do this, whether it works or not. Putting forth the effort to do this, it works 100%.
Yeah. And honestly, it takes minimal effort because, like I said, it's not something that you're going to have to go tend and everything all the time if you don't want to. You know what I mean? It's something that you're going to plant, and hopefully other people will catch on. Try to get your friends involved. I don't care if it's just tossing seeds out as you're going down the highway, to make the highways look better. Mm-hmm. Hell, we've got people, I don't remember which community it is, but the town's so broke, they literally can't fix their own roads. So people started buying the asphalt patches and started doing it themselves. They just randomly decided, hey, you know what? We're tired of driving over potholes. So they got their friends and they got a little bit of money together and they started buying the asphalt patch and started fixing the roads. This is something that we could do, a little bit different, but it's something you could do like this and, get some friends together that are like-minded and maybe some that aren't, but are willing to at least, help you, rake some ground up and, plant some seeds, leave a note, leave a sign, help some people. Don't go tearing everybody's yard up. Just
yeah, no. And I don't even really have a problem with going into someone's yard if you're not actually going into the yard. Like, I'm not going to hop somebody's fence and start taking over. It's just if you don't have a fence in between your property and there's like a little, space that looks good to put anything, put it there. If they don't like it, you can basically tell them the whole situation of why you're planting that. If they still don't like it, that's the kind of people I was talking about earlier, and they can just mow over it. I really don't think there would be any kind of legal repercussion because you weren't defacing anything, essentially. Right. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, probably. If you got like a chain link fence or something, separating your properties, a lot of people do. They can't afford the big, tall, nice wooden fence around. Grow it on your side, but have it where it's there where they can go get it. And if you've got, most people have 2 or 3 neighbors at least, put it on either side. That way, and let your neighbors know. Be like, hey, I'm growing some stuff here on my garden. If you want to do it, if you want to take some of it, if you want to come help, I can get you some seeds. I'll help you plant it, and look for areas around your town. A lot of the reason this works is people kind of go in, kind of under the cover of darkness, and they'll dig it and they'll plant the seeds and then they're just gone. And then the next night they'll go in, make sure it's all taken care of. And it sounds kind of cloak and dagger. It sounds like it's kind of illegal. But what's the worst? What are they going to, honestly, here's my opinion. What are they going to take you into jail for? Well, he's trying to go grow vegetables on a plot of land that's doing nothing.
Well, people do go to jail for collecting rainwater.
Oh, God, that's true.
Here comes my realist to you again.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. That's a sad state of America.
But that's what I love about it, and it's sad and it's empowering at the same time to know that people go out of their way to try and just bring some basic humanity back to the earth. Really. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. And honestly, I would be curious if they would ever actually charge people who was trying to help the community like this, especially if you got enough people together. I know a few of the places that have actually managed to keep it here in the States. One of them, I want to say it was somewhere in California. It was actually, they were able to get it into like a public land. So it's now like protected, and that's specifically what it's for, is for people to go in there and grow stuff like that. So maybe, you can get your town to do something similar.
Yeah, especially if it's a smaller town and community, you've got a lot better chance.
Yep. And, it's one of those, it's also a good form of protest. Mm-hmm. Specifically because of stuff like the rainwater and everything. This is kind of a way, it's like, you know what? Okay, screw you. You don't want me helping these people. You don't want me doing this. Well, screw you. I'm doing it. I am going to help people. And I'm going to try to get as many people as I can to help as well. And we're going to try to change this where, we can help each other. And that's kind of the whole point, I think, behind this. But it's something to definitely check out. Do you have anything else on this?
No, I think we pretty much covered it. At its core, it's a very basic idea that you can kind of just take the idea and run with it. There's no right or wrong as far as like what you should plant or what you could. It's essentially anything that it's going to help the community. I mean, shoot, if you could get some aloe vera plants going, that would help people with sunburns in the summer. So
right, yeah.
it could literally be anything. And it's the whole idea is just producing free product that will help the community and save people money and create more independence, essentially.
Yep, I absolutely agree. So with that, it's called Guerrilla Gardening, and it's spelled kind of like guerrilla warfare, type thing.
That's what it is. I mean, that's essentially what it is. It's a non-violent warfare. It's you standing up against the system, essentially, and saying, we're going back to the basics. We're going to grow our own food or product, whatever.
Yep. And so be sure to check it out. Do a lot of research. If you guys come across anything you think that everybody should know, get with us. Our email again is edpreparedness@gmail.com. Maybe you have some ideas. Maybe you're a part of the guerrilla gardening community somewhere. Please get a hold of us. We'll get you on, and we'll get this message out there as much as we can. That email again is edpreparedness@gmail.com. Check us out on Facebook. Share this. I'll get this on here this weekend. Like I'm telling you guys, like you guys are going to care. You won't hear it until it's up. But for myself, we're going to start trying to get a lot more stuff put up. Like I said, everything's kind of, I hope, settling down a little bit anyway. We're doing a new format that I think will help everything. But yeah, maybe you're in, scene, Facebook@ed.com/edprepare. Get with us on Twitter @edprepare. We're on YouTube. Subscribe, like it, share it, love it. Tell your friends about it. Guerrilla market it for us.
Yep, there's another tactic. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we don't care where you share it, just share it. But honestly, with that, I think we're about done. I mean, hell, we've covered everything from aliens and Martians and debates, politicians. Of course,
let me ask you one more question as we're kind of closing out. I saw this question posed on Twitter from many different sides. Does America really want another Bush in office?
Oh, dear Lord, no.
Okay.
I honestly, that is one of my biggest fears, and I don't care what you think about the politics. This country was intended to not get basically what's the word I want to say? We're not supposed to keep going with the families in power. Mm-hmm. The royals did that, your monarchy and stuff where it was kept in the bloodline. You look, I mean, it was always like, the names and stuff. And I just, even Paul, as much as I respected Ron Paul and Rand Paul, that kind of bugs me too. Mm-hmm. Because it's so close to keeping just like that. There's a word for it, and I can't remember to save my life right now. You look at those candidates. We have a Clinton, which would be the second one. We have a Bush, which would be the third one. And we have a Paul, which would be another family that was in power or was in politics basically their entire lives. Now, both of them are doctors and well respected outside of politics, but it's still, you're getting a lot of the same names and families following the profession. And this country wasn't intended to be that way.
Right.
And so all of that makes me nervous. And then you've got Jeb Bush is just an idiot.
Yeah.
So, you got Hillary Clinton who, regardless of what you think about her politics, whether you think it's a scandal or not, good God, she can't find her email. I mean, do we honestly want, the leader of the free world, quote unquote free world, to be a person who literally can't find her email or doesn't remember she had 2 cell phones?
Oh my.
Exactly. And, you've got the other Bush who they're just, I don't know, they just kind of get worse as it goes on. But no, I really hope America's better than that. And I would like to think the Republican Party at least has a little bit more class than to just give us the same thing every dadgum, election. But I don't think they do.
No, I think you're more optimistic on that than I am. I think they're a bunch of idiots. So.
Well, yeah. I want to be optimistic. I want to, I'm trying to turn a new leaf in life. I'm trying to be more optimistic. And the whole political season just basically throws that in the garbage for me.
And that's one reason I quit paying attention to a lot of that stuff. I pay attention. I should rephrase that. I kind of keep track of it, but I don't get immersed in it like I used to because, I just found out that it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things when it boils down to, your personal life. So.
Yeah. See, I'm one of those people. I am a political junkie. I love to get on social media. I'm one of those Facebook keyboard warriors, when it comes to arguing politics. But at my heart, I'm a lot like you now. I get on there and flame. I'll sit there and I'll, poke and prod and, just be basically a cantankerous bastard on there just for the fun of it. But at the end of the day, you know what? I get off there. I go home. I enjoy life. I look for ways to help people. I look for ways to help myself. I look for ways to make my life and my experience living better and more positive. I don't sit there and focus on politics and get down and get depressed and get upset that my candidate isn't winning or this or that, because like you said, at some point you just have to sit back and you know what, I'm going to leave this in God's hands. I'm going to do what I can do. I'll try to help as much as I can. But at the end of the day, I'm going to wash my hands of it. I'm not going to let this, I'm not going to lose sleep over this.
Right.
And I'm going to live my life. I'm going to, love my wife. I'm going to love my dogs. And I'm going to enjoy living because life's too damn short to let, 3 Bushes and a Clinton ruin it. So,
yeah, couldn't put it any better.
But so with that, I think we've lost all semblance of professionalism pretty much when we started talking about aliens. And I think it's carried throughout the show fairly well. So.
Everybody go check out those clown videos that I was telling you about, though.
Yeah. And check out the alien videos, too.
Yep.
Because, at the very least, there are cool rock structures, that are on this planet that's, a very long way away.
Right.
So that's awesome. At the very least, these are weird things showing up on a planet a long way from ours. Well, the grand scheme of the universe, I guess it's not too long, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so at the very least, it's cool stuff. And I would rather keep up on that. So with that, again, the email is edpreparedness@gmail.com, facebook.com/edprepare, and Twitter @edprepare. You're probably checking this out on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to comment. Be sure to share this stuff. Guerrilla Gardening. Definitely check it out. Look to see what you can do. Maybe it isn't for you, but maybe you know somebody who's a closet hippie that would just love this kind of stuff. Show them. Let them know what it's about. Get on it with them. Anyway, Zane, you got anything else, brother?
Nope, I think we've covered quite a bit today.
All right. Well, with that, I will see you guys, or I guess, well, hell, I won't see you. This is a podcast, dumbass. I can't even close the damn show, man. Too tired. Anyway, with that, we'll talk to you guys later.
See ya.